Good evening and happy Labor Day weekend, everyone. This is Mike Chi, the creator of RetroTINK. I want to give you guys an update on some of the other projects I've been working on. But first of all, I want to say thank you to everyone that supported my projects. It's been a huge blast, and I'm really happy to hear that there are other people out there in the world that are enjoying the tools and toys I build. But tonight I want to talk a little bit about this device I'm prototyping. I call it the RetroTINK 2X. It's a really simple line doubler. The goal isn't really to try to compete or replace the open source scan converter, because that's a fantastic device, as is the FrameMeister. But for me, I wanted to build a really simple line doubler, much simpler than what's already out there, but higher quality than, say, the cheap $20 thing you get from eBay from China. Like I said, this is a line doubler. The idea is it takes 240p sources and does the critical job of converting that to 480p. Now, the process of converting 240p to 480p is the toughest part with converting the video signals from these old retro consoles to a modern display, because it usually involves deinterlacing. Most modern displays assume that the video signal is a 480i signal and applies all sorts of deinterlacing and signal processing, which adds display lag and probably corrupts the signal because it doesn't look good for games. It's designed for video. The idea with this device is it does one thing and does it really simple. It just takes a 240p image and line doubles to 480p and shoots it out through HDMI. Okay, right now, so I want to go through the setup before showing some images. So right now I've got component inputs going to the line doubler. This device also will eventually support S-video and composite. Haven't soldered in, haven't programmed the firmware to recognize the sources. It also supports audio capture with standard RCA jacks and an A to D, but again, haven't enabled that yet, early prototype. So feeding this component, the component inputs is going to be my Raspberry Pi through my RetroTINK. Now, it does seem a little bit stupid to go from the Raspberry Pi to component and then back in this line doubler and out to HDMI, but the reason I'm using the Raspberry Pi is because it's an easy way to run 240p test suite. Can do some lag tests. For actual gameplay, I have my PS2. It's actually the only console I have right now with games. I've got a Super Nintendo, but I'm waiting for my SD to SNES to come in before I can use that. But I'm using my PS2 because, of course, it has component outputs, and I can connect it to the line doubler to show you some gameplay. So the component signal is going to my PVM, which then loops back out to the line doubler through HDMI to this monitor here. And here's the two displays I'll be using. Got a CRT and just a really simple 1080p computer monitor, because I like to use computer monitor for the first test because I think the input lag should be better than a TV, because there isn't really any signal processing. So let's go switch over to some tests. Let's try some stuff in 240p test suite. Drop shadow test is always good. Switch it to a regular shadow. Okay, let's try the striped spray test. Looks good too. Now let's try the lag test. I'm going to switch over to high-speed camera. Okay, here we are in high-speed video mode on the lag test. That whine you hear is the 15.73 kilohertz scanning rate of the CRT slowed down, left that in for authenticity. If you take a close look at the video or freeze frame, you'll find that the LCD pretty much is on the same frame or lags by 1 frame. That implies the display lag is probably somewhere between 0 and 1 frames, call it half a frame. Most of that lag is probably from the processing inside the LCD itself. The line doubler doesn't have any frame memory. It can only double from the previous few lines. I still need to hunt down a good VGA CRT to really verify that. I have a nice Apple 21-inch CRT, but it's really fickle with the timing signals. Doesn't want to sync to most sources. That's a bummer. But once I find a real VGA CRT, I'll verify that for you. But overall, this is looking pretty promising. Half a frame of lag is pretty good going to an LCD. Alright, let's do some real gameplay. So I've loaded up Chrono Cross. Chrono Cross is a nice stressful test because it rapid switches between 480i in the in-game menus to 240p during normal gameplay. So let's take a close in. You can see on my PVM everything looks nice and sharp. Beautiful 240p image. And this is upscaled, line doubled to 480p and displayed on my computer monitor. Is the scaling perfect? No, but with what we have to work with, this is actually pretty nice. Certainly a lot better than what I've seen with the built-in scalers on HD TVs and some other devices. The video is probably not the best quality either, but it's pretty, in real life it's nice and sharp. Overall, great image. Okay, let's get through the text dialogue. Okay, let's try to go to the menu. Goes blank. Oh, it's not bad. Recovered within about a second or two. What's weird was it seemed to go to the menu, then it might have lost sync, and then had to recover. So here's the 480i line doubled. Still a very nice image. And for such a simple device, it really did a good job line doubling. And of course, this is on the CRT. And yeah, of course, nothing's going to look as authentic as a CRT, but sometimes you really do need a, sometimes you don't always have the luxury. The only problem I see with this version of the device, which I'm still working on, is some of the vertical lines seem to have a bit of a flicker. I'm not sure why that is. I need to look into the settings, investigate that some more. Let's go back to 240p. How do I get out of here? Nope. Okay. And again, it took about a second, roughly a second for it to recover, which is pretty fast. Not the end of the world. I think probably about as fast as these things will go. This is back in 240p mode. Okay, here I've switched over to Lunar 2. It's more of an old school 2D game, give you a better idea of what pixel-based graphics would look like. So here again, PVM, nice, beautiful image. Looks great without the scan lines on a real CRT. Still working on a scanline generator for this device. I think it should be possible, just need to reprogram a few things to get the timing right. But we'll see how the scanline generator looks when that scales up. But in the meantime, let's just look at the image, just purely doubled. Of course, no scanlines, but I really think the scaler does a good job. Hope the camera is able to catch how sharp the picture is. Now, because the line doubler is only doubling from 240p to 480p, this LCD is actually doing another scaling on top of that, and that's why the image is a little bit softer, because the scaling from 480p to 1080p for this monitor, it has its own scaling algorithm which smooths out some of the lines and the pixels. Now, some people prefer the pure blocky look, but for me, a little bit of smoothing is nice. I think it does make it look better. Blocky images is a bit too much for me. So I think for me this is a nice balance. And that's it for now. We'll keep you guys updated. Thanks for watching.